Hey folks, Seibyyy here. This video is about road layouts and general city building tips. Let's get started by showing you my latest and so far best laid out district. It starts with a 6-lane one-way road going around the outside. I've started doing that in the last few districts that I built, but this so far is the most efficient design. It's basically a 6-way circle, a huge one-way circle. It's really important not to use highway on and off ramps anymore. Just connect the highway directly into the 6-lane roads. Seems to be much more efficient and no more traffic holdup. This is the trash area for the 2 new districts that you can see on screen right now. It all seems to work pretty efficiently. There's no needs and whatsoever, but you'll see later once that new district is fully developed in the back what the traffic looks like and the supply for the various utilities that you need. A really important thing is the noise when it comes to quality of life. What I've started doing, a perfect example is right here in this district. You can see the center, there's no noise coming in from the commercial areas, and that's done by office areas, basically always in between commercial and housing to buffer the sound, because the offices don't make sound or noise pollution at all. Also, I lay out these districts completely with roads, then I build all the traffic, the transportation connections. And the last thing I do is put in the zoning rights. I also already placed fire stations, and I'm going to place schools and all of that before I start zoning. The electricity right now is not supplied, but that'll all come automatically once the people start zoning in houses and it all gets connected. Here you can see my transportation system. The main transportation system is the subways. They go throughout the whole city. This is the main hub where 2 subway lines come together, basically the top half of the city and the bottom half. And you can see the people here going from one subway station to the other one over these little walkways. And from testing, it seems pretty efficient and fast too. Basically, if they want to go from the top half to the bottom half, they have to either go through that main subway hub in the middle or take the train, which also connects every major part of the city through the middle. And then of course there's highways everywhere. I tried to build the highways pretty much around every district so they can come in from every side. And here you can see the highway directly flowing into the 6-way grid. I had some huge problems here. The highway was getting so clogged up between these 2 parts of town, so I had to build these evasive highways, which they looked really stupid, but it actually helped the traffic flow, because basically people wanting to get off before the evade lane goes back onto the highway won't go on that evade lane, and everyone else will go on the evade lane. That way traffic is split up pretty well. Here this layout is pretty good, but you can see I'm still having some problems with the intake of the vehicles. That's why in the new districts, like I've showed you, I have the highways directly flowing into the 6-lane roads to reduce that intake problem that the districts have from highways dumping cars. Here you can see the traffic works pretty well. This is the first part of that new district. It's just that one little intersection up there where there's a good amount of traffic, which I could reduce by changing that road up there, which I really only built for the trash facilities. But yeah, it's not that bad, like I said. Alright, I'm gonna start zoning in some buildings and getting some electricity connections going. And This is going to be the design with the noise polluting commercial areas around the outside, then office areas a little further in to buffer the sound towards the housing areas, which are going to be at the very center. As you can see, I could have built this road layout straighter and more efficiently, giving you more blocks and more efficiently spaced blocks to give zoning rights. But yeah, I didn't bother at this point. I was just too lazy. But as you can see, if you make it more perfect, you can fit a lot more buildings in. And these little buildings, like the 3 and 4 squares together, the ones that are just 2 squares wide, I really don't like those. Those are some ugly buildings. And it also seems like those get problems faster with workers and selling goods, or I feel like, you know how you constantly have to bulldoze buildings, and it feels like those little buildings are 90% of what I bulldoze. Alright, putting some office areas. Now I'm gonna put the high density housing around the inside ring, and then maybe some low density housing at the very core. I can already tell this road I built right through the middle of the circle here, that's going to be getting a lot of traffic, which can easily be changed, but we'll see how it pans out. Alright, let's just place a few more zones so this can start growing while we look at some of the other parts of the city. Here, this is a pretty nice district too. I also tried, this one has the commercial directly next to the housing, and it's drastically reducing housing quality with noise pollution, as you can see. If I just had one row of offices in between that, as I do here, then the noise pollution in the housing area would be greatly reduced, and that increases land value. You can already see all the buses going through the dead city. Here's the sewage facility. You can see all my sewage is being dumped right in between those 2 dams, and one of them is open, and right now that's letting me produce a constant supply of a little bit over 100 megawatts right now. And the more you build, the more people come, that will go up. I actually started at around 60 megawatt. This dam down here I just built later on to try and stop the pollution, so that my cruise ships can have and here my South Beach area can have some cleaner water. And you can see this area used to be the sewage drain, and there's still a huge patch of pollution right there, but that'll eventually dissipate, and so will all the other pollution in front of that dam that I just built, and all the shit water should be storing up behind it for later generations to worry about, I guess. Here you can see this was the right side is actually the very first part of my city that I started when the map started, and it's really a pain in the ass until you unlock a little bit and get your city running to the point where you make a good amount of money. At this point right now, it's pretty much like using the infinite money cheat, because you can build anything right away and whenever you want. That's how much money the city is making. Also, I'm running all the edicts like smoke detectors, reduced water and electricity with the meters, and free public transport. Basically everything I can do with money to make my citizens' lives better, or the environment, I've done, because like I said, at this point you basically have infinite money. It's like a nice city so far. Alright, let's look at our new district. You can see I built this one power line over here to power the train station, and as everything connects up with buildings, it'll connect up with electricity. There's no need to build power lines within the grid because you'll just mess up the zoning because the lines can't build on them. It's a little tricky with the utilities and stuff like the trash. With the one-way roads, you have to kind of think about how you do it so it's all in the green area. Same with everything else, the graveyards and the medical places. See, it's not quite connected at the bottom here, so I'm building another one, and there's one fire station in each district, and don't need a police station, but maybe I'll build one. My crime is already at 5-6%. Haven't heard of my crime ever since and I even have marijuana legalized. Of course. Alright, schooling. Yeah, you just, same with the one-way roads, you just gotta watch a little bit how you place them. But that seems to be enough. Don't need a university, but I only have one or two, so probably build another one. Need an elementary school down here. Too many red buildings. Give them a high school too. Even though it's just that one row of housing really. But whatever, like I said, we got enough money. Here you can see the intake from the highway, how much, well, it's still not perfect, but it still works a lot more efficient than the on and off ramps, because they can actually use all lanes to turn, even though sometimes they don't do it and they try to get on a lane for no reason whatsoever. But that's a no problem. Hopefully they'll fix that eventually, especially with the cars getting in the turn lane 10 miles before the actual turn comes. Yeah, this is my highest developed part of the city, or one of the oldest ones. All the buildings are maximum level, I think. Here's the port and it's an expo. That all panned out really nicely, how it looks visually with the cliffs and stuff. It's also a nice idea to put houses on the last row to the water, and if there's cliffs, they'll actually increase the height of the cliffs a little bit, or they'll move out, so each house will have their own little cliff yard. It looks pretty cool. You can see my city's on 6 slabs right now. Alright, let's look at what this place looks like more developed. Here it is, fast forwarded in time. It's the traffic overview. Yeah, and it's that one middle intersection. Would probably be best to just get rid of that entirely. Maybe put a third one-way ring through the middle. Even though that wouldn't be necessary, probably the smartest thing would be just to extend the small one-way roads that connect the grid in the middle and take that big road out in that intersection. But other than that, the traffic flow is working pretty well. There are these small areas and small details that need to be worked out, but otherwise that's a huge district we have here, and the traffic is flowing pretty good. Look at the highway exits and entrances. How many cars, and what a flow it is. Here the houses are already coming up. That's a lot of people. And it seems like everyone with a yellow shirt is to the right, red shirts in the middle, and green shirts on the left. That's funny. So that's it. That's all I can think of to tell you today. I'm gonna let some building of the new district run through and show you some different overviews in case you want to build something like that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments or add me on Steam, and subscribe if you want more informative videos about games like this. Peace out.